Good morning to everyone. I just want to make sure you can hear my audio as well as see my screen before I get started. As always, good morning. Perfect. Starting off good. Thank you. Thanks, Diana. Good morning. I like to start just a few minutes um, after 9 just to kind of give others a chance to get in. And then I will kind of run down how we're going to do this training. If you don't hear any sound right now, it could be because I'm just waiting for others to come in. Hopefully, the ones who. Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, I was kind of just here. I can hear you. Okay, okay. Hopefully, everyone is getting some sound. Yeah, I was just trying to read the chat. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Would like to formally start. Good morning to everyone. Thank you all for saying good morning in the chat. We'd like to welcome you to the 2022 fall course, or I would say fall data entry training. I am Dewana McCrary, and I will be your trainer for today's session. Today, we will go over material that will help you to submit your fall data. We want to let you know that today's material will be taken from our knowledge base, and we've broken it up into smaller chunks of information to kind of make it easier for you to get to and easier to find. So that's what I'm going to be showing you this morning. Well, I would say for the first part of our training, I will be showing you our knowledge base just so you can see all of the instructions. And then the second part of this training will be the actual demos. I felt that it would be easier for us to do it that way. So to do the first part, you do not need login credentials to go to support CTEIS. I kind of put it in the beginning of the chat. It's the support.ctis.com. If you were in the new user training last week, this is the same site that we were using. This is our online library, basically. And this is where you will receive all of your information. I'm sorry, let me text here to her not having any sound. 1 second. I kind of muted to try to adjust, I'm sorry, address some of the concerns in the chat. We have some people who can't hear, but we are recording and we'll try to have that video up as soon as possible. Just like last week, we'll try to have all of those videos up as soon as possible. Okay, so like I was saying, we're going to start our first part in support.ctis.com, and then our second half will be our demos. And once we start our demos, that's the actual process of how to input your data. We will be using train.ctis.com, and I'll put that in the chat as well. And in Train, you will have to use your login credentials. Your My Login should get you into practice in Train. So the access to actual users, everyone's muted. So you don't have to mute yourself. You're automatically muted right now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So just to kind of move forward, this is our fall data training. So we're going to go over everything regarding your fall data entry that is coming up. That's going to be due October 13th. Going forward, our expenditures training, it takes place on September 29th. That's the next collection process that you will have to complete. So just keep an eye open if you haven't registered for that. I'll show you where you can get that registration information, but you would need to register to attend that course if you haven't done it before, or if you just need a refresher. Expenditures is our next training set. We'll be training fall data today, tomorrow, and Thursday, and then we're going to move into expenditures. So this is our CTEIS knowledge base. Like I said, this is support.ctis.com. This is where we put all of our information. I do want to make note, if you're on this site, you may find some of the old data that we have from years prior. So the new information that we just put up is the new user tutorial quick links. That's for our new user training. This is under the data entry tab, and down at the bottom, this is the new material because some of our screens have changed in CTEIS. So the new material is here. as well as today's material is going to be the fall data entry quick links, and that's here. So we're going to click that, and this is where we're going to be working for from the beginning part of this training. As I stated, if you haven't registered for the next set of training, you can click the training link and then it will take you here, and it lists all of our upcoming trainings and the links here so that you can register. So we're going to go back into our quick links. And the first set we're going to do, or I'll say the first module, is our support assistance. Okay, we always like to give just a overview of who we are and how we can help you input your data. So who is PTD? PTD Technology provides technical support to districts operating career and technical education, which is our CTE programs. We have training consultants and support staff to help you with your technical needs. The CTEIS Help Desk provides technical support and can answer questions related to CTEIS application. So you'll hear me say the technical side. PTD is the technical side. This is our support, our knowledge base, our websites. On this knowledge base that I just showed you, support.ctis.com, we have newsletters and important documentation for you to use as resources to input your data. We also have a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel has our tutorials for our district reporters. You can access our YouTube channel by entering CTEIS in the YouTube search, but most of the videos can be found here on our knowledge base, and they could be easier to get to. So this is our documentation, but if I go back out of here and go back to our data entry and go under some of our, again, this information has to be updated because a lot of our screens have changed, but a lot of our training videos will be listed here on this knowledge base. So just give us a minute to kind of update some of those new videos because of all of the new changes within the last few weeks. But once the videos get up, that's where they will be located here on the knowledge base. Okay, so again, this is the technical side. If you're needing help regarding policy, policy has to be directed directly to OCTE. And we, on this documentation, we have Joan Church contact information. So I would like to say PTD is the how do I put in my data, but OCTE and reporting policy help is that's OCTE, that's the why you're putting in your data. So if you have questions to why things are requested or why we do certain collection processes, you can find that information through OCTE. If you want to contact Joan Church, or there's a lot of helpful links on the OCTE website, which there's a link there to kind of give you access to the or a quick link to the toolkits and documentation there. There's also links and information for your expenditure reports that we're going to be getting into, your follow-up reports, and then again, I mentioned the knowledge base and the YouTube channel. I would also like to make note of the CTEIS listserv. If you haven't done so already, this is the emails that you will receive from OCTE and PTD. We both utilize it, and it provides news and other relevant information. So if you want to get electronic updates, you need to contact the address here. I believe her name is Jackie Martinez, and get on the listserv so that you can receive the emails. They're very helpful. This is how we send out updates about documentation, updates about training. So please take advantage of that and get on the listserv. And that's on this document at the bottom as well. You can use that link. We also, so today with us, I'm Dewana, but we also have Diana, who is a part of PTD as well. So you may see her in the chat, or maybe you have already worked with her, but she's also very helpful. She's our scheduler. And so you'll see me either talk back to her or her answer your questions, but she's very helpful. So she's a representative of PTD as well. So that's who we are. We're going to go on to our next module. And this is our CTEIS overview. Okay, so if you're following along, this gives information about CTEIS, and I'm just going to kind of go through this just a bit. But you may say, well, what is CTEIS? If you didn't attend last week's training, CTEIS stands for Career and Technical Education Information System. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so what is CTEIS? CTEIS is a web-based application system that allows you to report enrollment information for state-approved CTE programs to the state of Michigan. Okay, so last week's training as well as this week's training will be put up on our knowledge base, and that should be up soon. We try to put those up, and we will do that as soon as possible. So we will get those up, and then they'll be in the new user and fall data sections of the knowledge base. Okay, so the average building reporter will complete 3 categories throughout the year, and this is what we're looking at down here at the bottom: enrollment, expenditures, and follow-up. And then there is, for enrollment, there are 2 collection processes. There's the fall course collection, which we're covering today, and then you'll have a spring collection in, I believe it ends in June, but it completes in June, but you kind of start in like early May and runs into June. So that's the fall and the spring. Expenditures begin in September and complete in November. That's the next set of training, and then our follow-up begin in October and complete in January. Okay, so that's what CTEIS is. That's kind of like an overview. We also have down at the bottom of this sheet, or if you scroll down a little bit, we have our primary goals. And the primary goals of CTEIS is to collect CT enrollment data used to determine 61A1 and 61B fund distribution. We also collect data required by federal Perkins 5 legislation, which is the Perkins Core Performance Indicators, also known as CPIs, and Consolidated Annual Report, known as CAR. Oh, yes. Thank you, Diana. Training begins in March, and then the collection you'll be doing through April and May, and then you submit it in June. So it just tells about CTEIS on the web and what you have to access CTEIS. But this is just an overview of CTEIS and what it is. Like I said, if you're new, this information can be helpful. So just remember where that is. So going on to our third link, which is our roles and access. This is just a breakdown of the roles and definitions of what the roles will entail. One thing that I like to point out is here in the roles, if again, if this is your first time or if you're new to your role, this is kind of a breakdown of the roles and how they fit into the whole component. So OCTE, as I mentioned earlier, which is our policy and where we get our information from, they're kind of on the outer part. And then you have your CPITs, your fiscal, and then your building reporters who reports your enrollments, your expenditures, and your follow-up. So that's kind of like how the roles fit together. As far as your terminology, CPIT, this is the image over here, which is your geographic, I would like to say your location area where all of your information is coming from. Your CPID is your career education and planning district. Okay, so that's the first level here. When we say fiscal or FA, fiscal agency or fiscal district, it's the agency or party responsible for the financial activities and use of state aid. That's the 61A1 funds. So fiscal agency, fiscal district, that's what those are. The next section is your operating agency, and this is the local school districts. And then your operating building, and this is where the student actually takes CTE courses. The next image over here is your programming. This is the actual data and how it's grouped. This outer layer here is the career cluster. And in the career cluster, this is your categories. There are 17 career clusters for the 53 state approved CTE programs. And the SIP code, which is the classification of instructional program, you'll hear SIP code a lot. It's specific to each program. So each program has a SIP code. Your PSN is your serial code, and it's assigned to each course. So we have course and then program. The program type, if it's regular or EMC, early middle college. And then your course section code, which is your sections, and then your subsections. And this section codes identifies the course. Your subsections are units of the class. And then whether or not your course has segments or competencies. So this kind of just kind of goes into the middle of the the core, and it kind of just gives an idea of how the programming works. So this is on our roles and access documentation. Just a little bit more information about where you are depending on your level of access. And each level of CTEIS is allotted different roles and access. So we'll start from level 2. Your level 2, if you have level 2 access, you can view school, student, and course information. If you have levels 3 and 4 access, you can enter and edit data in CTEIS. Level 4s can view economically disadvantaged students. So that's level 3 and 4. And then, as I stated, level 5 is your fiscal agents. And the access that they have is they may change access levels of users and delegate role responsibilities. So this is all of the information. You can review reports, you can enter and edit data. This is the access of granting access to other users. So all of this information is here for your review. And again, a lot of this information is on the OCTE website. If you have specific questions, contact OCTE. But this is just an overview of how all of this works. Just another point before I get off of this document. The CTEIS building reporters are granted access to individual buildings by each building's respective fiscal agent or FA authorized official. So upon receiving proper access, reporters may view and enter information regarding their programs, courses, and students specific to each building. So that's kind of how that works there. We're going to move on to the next link. This is a timeline specific to roles, expenditures, who completes our fall data entry, which we're in now. Who completes this? This is our reporters. Why we're doing it. Again, all of this information is also available, OCTE. Our follow-up survey, who completes it and why, what it's used for, the purpose. And then in the spring, our enrollment and completion collection, who completes it and why is it, what's the purpose. So all of that information is there for your resource as well. Another helpful tool is this is broken up. I can see there's an error there. Building reporter, I see it. Okay, we'll fix that. But this is broken up by specific tasks. This is the building reporter. This is the fiscal agent. And then this is the CPID administrator. This is broken up by what you're doing in the months of collection or leading up to the months of collection. So we know right now, September, we are in our fall data entry. So we're gearing up for our enrollment for the spring, but we're just putting in our courses here. And then it shows what you're going to be doing through June. So that's for the building reporters, the fiscal agents, and then the CPID administrators. And all of this has different tasks that's listed on them. Okay, we're going to move to our next slide. As I was stating earlier, this is just a document for my login. Most of you should already have your my login access. We're going to be needing that later if you want to use Train Cities to kind of demo some of the procedures. But if you haven't, this is our my login link. You can use this link here to set up and sign up for my login if you haven't already done so. As I stated earlier, supportcetis.com is your online library. This is just a document that entails where everything is according to topic. So you can use this to kind of get an idea of where to find material. So that's there for your resource, as a resource. The next link is current due dates. And it has all of the due dates. As we said, our fall course and staff is due October 13th to our CPID and then to OCTE October 20th. We're moving right into our expenditures and then follow up. So that's just a quick link to get to the important dates. Now we're coming into a little bit more of what we're going to be doing today. So this is our fall enrollment task overview. So again, we're getting ready for that spring enrollment report, which is due in, the training starts in March, but you're kind of collecting your material in April and May and submitting in June. The reason that it's important is enrollment data is at the core of all state reports. Okay. And with that, reporters are required to enter for this fall course collection. You're entering one course per teacher per PSN. So for this collection, it's one course per teacher per PSN by October 13th. Enrollments, segments, and competencies are not required in this collection. And then the data you enter from this collection is used to determine your funding and fulfill federal reporting requirements. So that's what we're going to go through today. On this document, there are links to import templates that you can use. You'll see us kind of reference them a little bit later. Breaks down again what's due for this specifically. And then the second page is just a best practices for the collections, the courses, the students, the enrollment. Best practices for data entry is what this is. Just a suggestion of how to keep up with all of your data and make sure that it's accurate. Okay, so we are going to kind of go over into the demonstration part of our training. Again, let's see. Just to kind of, I'm going to go back to this document here just to kind of give you a better understanding of what specifically we're doing. Number one, obtain instructional design of courses. This should be given to you by your CTE administrators or your teachers. If you're a building reporter, you should have some kind of instructional design that has your information on it. Once that's done, number two, you're going to enter in your new courses for the upcoming school year, or renew or deactivate or import your course information, either one of those. Number three, you're going to add new staff and assign them to courses. And then number four, you're going to begin your enrollments as able. Again, fall data is just your course and your teachers. If you have the other information, great. We'll go over the processes for other information as well today, but you don't have to have that turned in by the 13th if you don't know it. We're going to submit your fall course and staff to your CPED administrator October 13th, and then to OCTE October 20th. Okay, so give me a second to kind of change over my screen, and we're going to go into the new screens for managed courses. Managed courses is our next section. 1 second, I'm just going to mute while I change my screens over. Okay, so you should see managed courses on your screen. We're just going to break down what managed courses entails. Okay, so the managed courses screen allows you to add, edit, and review your course sections and segments. And your course sections and segments are very important in identifying your student advancement. So this document, again, this is in our fall data entry playlist. And this document just breaks down the course sections and subsections. It kind of gives the components of a course section. As I was talking about earlier, your zip code, your program type, the time of year, the time of day, instructor, and then the content. And the content is the segments or competencies. I mentioned earlier about instructional design forms, and that's something that you should have. The Perkins 4 instructional design forms, I'll show you where those templates are located. But this is if your program still use segments. You're going to use these instructional design forms. And the link is here, but I'll show you where to access that. So We're going to go back out. This is how you get to your instructional design forms. You can use the link, or you can go under enrollments. And on the side panel here, you'll see Perkins 4 instructional design forms. And this is an example of what that looks like. So this is for Perkins 4. This is just a breakdown of your instructional design forms here. This is the template. So you can enter in this information. Your CT administrator will enter in this information and give it to you. And this is what it would look like. So it's broken up. There's by semester, by trimester, quarter, 2-year by semester, trimester, 2-year. So all of that is here. You can utilize that template if your program still use Perkins 4, if it still use segments. Yes, there's absolutely, yep, we're going to get to that in just a moment. Okay, that question is, if when we create those courses, if we teach multiple of the same class at the same high school with the same standards and the same segments, can we just enter one class instead of 3? I would say if the information is the same, if it's the exact same course, but you might want to check with your CTE administrator or your teachers to make sure of that information. Okay, and Diana said you can copy the course so that it is inputted into the system. Okay. And the class period is part of the course. The same course having instructional designs depends on the competencies or segments. Different instructional designs. So it would depend on the competencies and the segments awarded. That was instructional designs for Perkins 4. The Perkins 5, as someone stated, is down here. And this is broken up by, like I was talking about, zip codes. Okay, so this is cosmetology, health sciences. This is the instructional designs for all of these specifics. Okay, so these are specific. The one in Perkins 4 was generic. You can fill it in. But the ones for Perkins 5 is specific. So we'll click on the cosmetology, and let's see if it'll let me open this file. This is an Excel file. Let me make sure that this is coming up here. Okay, so you should be able to see that this is, let me see if I'm at the, this is a instructional design form for cosmetology. If we scroll all the way to the top, you can see that this is a Perkins program overview. So this is an overview of all of the information for this course, okay, or this program. And it goes all the way here. The next is the competency statements, and it breaks down what the competencies are. This is the template, okay, the template for cosmetology. Okay, so it breaks down what the competencies are, okay, and it gives the competencies here. The next tab should be, let me get this out the way. This is your segment to competency crosswalk, okay? So it'll let you know the zip code, the former segment number, and then the competency code. So this is very useful as well to take a look at this, and it gives it on down here. Okay. So this, and then this tab here is more information, your competency, your standards, and your performance indicators. This is an example. It gives your instructions, and then it's a template here. Okay. Okay, 1 second. And then this is the actual template for you to fill in. So this is the example and then the template, and all of this is for cosmetology. So if you're utilizing this, it has all of the instructions on how to put it in and how to fill in all of your information here. So you're talking about a Perkins 4 course. And when you get into managed courses, it doesn't allow you to put your segments in. Okay, we're gonna get to the manage courses screen in just a moment, and maybe we could see where it is that it's not entering in for you, because we're gonna do an example of a manual entry and then import. So we'll see it once we get to that screen. No, yeah, no problem. We'll see what we can do here. Okay, so this is just an example. So I'm gonna again, these are the Perkins 5 templates on the side here. Under enrollments, and then down here at the bottom. This is where these are. And we're in managed courses. And this is what I was just saying. This is just going to link back to the knowledge base that I just showed you for Perkins 5. All right, so this document here just lets us know how to get to the managed courses page, how to manually enter in new courses. This is an explanation of the segment and competency profile panel. Okay, and this is, again, this is for manual entry. Information about the course information panel. We're going to see all of that in just a second, and I'm going to highlight that and show you where those are. And this is all virtual delivery, whether your course is going to be virtual, the type, the segment profile panel. This is where we will put in our segments, and I kind of believe that that's along the lines of where her question was, but this is for manual, but you can enter in your segments, and then you can also enter in your competency depending on the program type, if it's a P4 or P5. So all of this information is here for you to view in document form, but we're going to do a little demo in just a second. So how to select early and middle college, how to search your courses. So this is a very lengthy manual, but it has all the information components that you need to get your courses in. And then this is the imports. So if you're putting your courses in using the templates and then you import, I'm going to show you where to use your imports from the screen, how to enter those in. Okay, so that's the end of that document. This is manage courses. Again, still located in our playlist for our fall data entry. This is just a document for managed staff. We can input our staff when we put in our courses manually or imports. But if you want to manage staff, if you have new staff that you have to enter in or change information from, I'll show you the manage staff screen. But this is the documentation for that to walk you through the process. This is manage students. We're going to review this screen, but this is the documentation that you can follow along for managing students. And this is to import your students manually or by import. So imports are down here. If you're doing manual, you're going to fill out all of this information. And this is a breakdown of what it's asking for. You're going to fill out this information if you're doing an import, but it's on an Excel document. So it's a little bit different. Okay, so all of this is here. We're going to show how to edit. I'm sorry. Yeah, this here, if you, we're going to scroll back up to the top, this manual or module, this is our, when you go to data entry, you're going to go all the way down to fall data entry quick links. Okay, this is where I am. And then the fall data entry quick links is all of the information that I've went through today. So we're down here at manage staff and manage students. I just went over manage staff. So if you click this link, you're going to find the manage students module. And this is where the instructions are. Next one is manage enrollments. So we're going to go to the screen and demo, but this is the instructions on how to manage enrollments. Okay, so it shows how to enter in all of the information if you're doing it manual, how to input grades manually. I'll show you where those screens are. And then your grade breakdowns. So depending on what you use, there's a comparable grade. So there's a chart there just for your just for reference. And then we're going to show how to import your enrollments, your grades, and your work-based learning. So that's all under manage enrollments. And like I said, I'm going to show you these templates that you can use to import your courses and your staff if you choose to import instead of putting them in manual. Okay, so we're going to, this is a work-based learning. And then there's templates, which is if you choose to put in your work-based learning manually, I'll show you how to do that. But this is if you choose to import your work-based learning. So that information is there. You can use these links and it'll just link you back to the knowledge base, but it's just a quick link to keep it all together. All right, so that brings us into our work-based learning overview. This document tells what work-based learning is, and it breaks down all of the codes in work-based learning. Sorry, one second. And if you want full instructions on how to, or background information on work-based learning, you could use this link. And there's a lengthier guide explaining work-based learning, but we'll kind of input, we'll demo where that information is and how to do imports. But this is just an overview of work-based learning and what it is. You have your credential overview. Same thing. It's very similar to work-based learning. Managing credentials is very similar to managing work-based learning, but these are the templates and then a list of approved credentials. And it's just linking back to our knowledge base. So that's there. I don't want to give too much information and confuse anyone, but again, if you go under this fall data entry and go down to the quick links, all of this documentation is there, and we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to find and navigate through. So, okay, great. Yeah, we're just trying to keep it all together, but all of this information kind of links to different parts on the knowledge base. So moving along, our data entry review. So once you enter in all of your data, you want to review it. Now, I do want to point out, you may not have to do a whole lot of review for this fall collection because you're only entering in you only have to enter in one course, one staff per PSN, but going forward, you're going to want to have your review information so that you can review because you're going to be putting in your enrollments, you're going to be putting in your students. So you want to make sure that you stay up on your review so that when you do your processes in the spring, everything will kind of flow smoothly. So while you may not use this today or within the next couple of weeks for your fall, this is going forward. So your 3-year instructional design, your list of courses by building, active district and staff listing. This is all for course review. We tried to separate that. So course review, if you're reviewing courses. If you scroll down a little bit, it'll show you how to print them if you need to print them. But then student review, if you're reviewing your students. Okay, so the reports available is the check UIC button, the bad UIC by building. So if you're getting these errors, you want to come check these out to see where the information may have been entered in wrong or got mixed up somehow. So this is the reports to kind of review that information before you get to the end and try to submit and can't submit because you have a lot of errors. So this is just kind of like another tool. Your student advancement report, this is all for students. And then lastly, your enrollment review. So we broke it up into 3: your course review, your student review, and your enrollment review. So your enrollment, you have your class student list report, your program enrollment history report, and then your program counts. So this is just some, but let me show you where all of the reports are. You don't only have to use these. There are other reports available, and I'm going to show you where those are now. So still on our knowledge base, I'm sorry, correct that. It's not on our knowledge base. The reports are available when you log into CTEIS, and I'll show you that when we log in. So I apologize. But if you want the breakdown of the reports, that's where this is, your data entry review. This is the reports that you can look at. When we get over into our demo, I will show you where the reports are because you have to log in to see the reports. Correction there. Sorry about that. So this is what I just went through here, your data entry review. And then this is just a overview of when it's time to submit the data. For October 13th, we're going to kind of show you, well, you should do it before October 13th, is due October 13th. But this is what we're going to go through today and show you the screens to submit. So this is for the building reporter submits it to the fiscal agent. The fiscal agent reviews it and sends it to the CPIT. The CPIT reviews it and sends it into OCTE. So that's the train, that's the link. Building reporter to fiscal agent to CPIT. Okay. And if there's some errors or corrections need to be done, it goes back the same way from the CPIT to the fiscal agent to the building reporter. That's how the system works. So we don't want to jump lines and not go with the process. So this is the submission process. And I'll show you these screens. And then the very last link, we have made it to the end of the links. This is our spring and summer enrollment. This is just a looking forward to get you prepared for your spring enrollment report. This is all of the tasks that you will be completing for your spring enrollment. And then again, a best practices for data entry, just to kind of give you an idea. So all of this information is here for you to read, for you to review. Going back into work-based learning and credentials, because at that time, your work-based learning and your credentials are due for your spring report, but not for your fall. So take some time to look at this. Just get familiar with it if you haven't done it before. But all of this is in our playlist. Okay, so hopefully all of the information is here. I wanted to give an overview of everything so that you know that it's here and that you can access this. And then now we're going to go into our demos. So we're about an hour in to our training, and we're going to go into our demos, and we're just going to be specifically on that Train CTEIS site. Let's see here. I'll type it in. That's where we're going. I don't want to overwhelm anyone. We can take a break at this point and then go in, and then we'll finish up in our demos, or we can keep going. So I guess I'll ask in the chat if we want to take a 10-minute break now so that we don't interrupt. Let's we get we got two different. So how are we going to I think we might have a little more breaks than keep goings. So we'll take a little bit of a break. We won't make it to, we'll take 10 minutes. The next session isn't that long. We're going to go right into our demo. So when you come back, just log your computer into train.cteis.com, use your login credentials, and then we'll do all of our demos at that time. I'm going to put up a clicker, a timer for our break so that we're all on the same page in just a minute, and then we could take our break. So 10 minutes. Okay, we are back, and hopefully everyone made it back. Okay, so we are on train.cetus.com. You can use this site to demo some of the processes that we will complete today using your My Login credentials. So I'm already logged in under our demo login, but this is what train.cetus looks like. This is just basically a mirror of the actual CTEIS application. So this is what CTEIS would look like if you're logged in. And the dates are on the sides. So all of the collection dates you'll find on the side, when your due dates are. These links here will just link you back to the knowledge base and the materials within the knowledge base. The listserv information, as I was talking about, if you want to contact to get on the listserv, that information is there. We have some updates here, so you can just use that information as a resource. But this is the CTEIS. This is CTEIS. Okay. When we enter in our data, we're going to go under data entry. And then it's broken up by category. Okay, so we have our enrollment, which is where we're going to do most of our work. Follow up is coming up, and this is where our follow up materials are located, and then our expenditures. And we are doing some updates on expenditures, so that's not open yet. That will be open shortly. Okay, so that training will take place in a little bit. That, like I said, the 29th, I believe it is. But for now, it's not open. Okay, because there's some updates being done here. Okay, I thought someone had a question. Hopefully. Okay, hopefully we're good. Oh, yes. Yes, your normal My Login should get you on to train.cetus.com. Okay, so once we're into manage courses, which is the second selection here. We're going to click on our manage courses. And this is the new manage courses screen. It looks a little different than it did last year. And I'll show you some of the features. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, according to your permissions and your access, your district should be listed. Okay, so my permissions and access shows that I only have 2 here. Okay, so I'm going to select my 1, but yours should list whatever your access is to. Whatever your access is should be listed in your districts. Okay, so I'm going to select my district. And right away, I know that I can view the active courses or I can view all courses. Okay, so I can click either one of those buttons to change that information. Right now, we're going to demonstrate how to create a new course. So it shows all of the courses that I have active here. As we can see, all of those Ys going down that side, that last column. So it shows that all of the courses are active. Okay. Just to kind of give you an overview, this is kind of the same where you can sort your courses, or you can type into here Or so it's bringing up all of the courses that I have for my automotive technology course. So I can do that by CSC, by course name, PSN, and so on. Okay, so we can sort all of that here. And it lists all my information. To demonstrate a new course, I'm going to go up here and click. This is a manual entry of a new course. Okay, so I'm going to select the building that the course is going to take place in, and then I'm going to select the program that the course is. So mine's is automotive technician. Okay, you want to check? Yeah. If you haven't, you check with um your, I believe it will be your CT administrator, whoever it is that um you would have to check with them to see if you're not coming up with your login access. Yep. But for now, you can definitely follow along. But this is what it would look like if I'm entering in a course manually. So we see that all of my active courses are at the top part, the top portion. This is the bottom portion. And this is our course information panel. And our course information panel has some red asterisks here that indicates this information is needed. I have to enter in this information. Room number and course section period may be helpful for your instructional design of your course, but it's not required for CTEIS. Fiscal agent. Okay. Yep, your fiscal agent for your access. Thank you, Diana. Virtual delivery mode is here, whether or not it's virtual. We got to select if the course is going to have dual or concurrent enrollment, secondary or post-secondary. We have to select one that is required. And then this panel over here shows our course information, our program information. All right, so our CSC is our course section code. All right, so for this, I have obtained my instructional design, and I have that my course section code is AM4, automotive 4. Okay, and my local name is okay. So that's the course name. Okay, so notice that the start date, we can click over here or just click anywhere in the box and select our start date. By default, it has today's date. And then by default, it also has today's date as the end date, but it's not going to allow you to do that. So then we have to select our end date. And we're just going to say that this program ends in December. Okay, but you would put in when your course would end. I'm sorry, not program. We are going to say that this course is going to end in September, and you would have to put your end date. I do have to put semester. This is a first semester course. Again, this is not required, but this is for my instructional design. So I'll know what room number that course is taking place in. Same thing with the course section period. This course is not going to be virtual. So I'm going to select not virtual. That is required. And then this course will not have um, dual or concurrent enrollment. Now, let's say, for instance, it did. This automatically pops open for me to put in my high school credits. I can either type it in or I can use the drop down or kind of click in there, and the same for college credits. Okay, so I could put in high school or college credits here if my course is going to award high school or college credits. But this one isn't. Okay, so now I have all of that information in. And again, refer to your modules for specific definitions on what this is, what the course section code is, that's all in the modules that I provided earlier, or I showed you earlier. Okay. I believe the answer is going to be yes to if the CSC code has to match the master schedule. That's something you might want to talk over with your instructional design, the person who gave you your instructional design, because when you put that information into CTEIS, you want to make sure that it matches. So whatever the code is in CTEIS is what it's going to appear in your records. I guess that would be up to the instructional design of your building. Okay, so the panel over here on the side, this is our zip code, our program, the type of program. This is a regular program. This is a Perkins 5 program. Our PSN, our CPID, our fiscal agency, our operating agency, and then the building that the actual course is operating in. So this is the panel here. Okay, so we're going to scroll down, and because this course is a regular course and it's a Perkins 5 course, this panel down here is a competency profile. And again, the breakdown of this information is in the module that we showed earlier. But because this program is awarding or you receive competencies in this program, I'm going to select the competencies according to my instructional design that my instructor or my CTE administrator gave me. So this is the competencies. And again, this is just an example, okay? But we have all of the competencies available for this program, and these are the ones that are available. And again, the Z and all of this, the breakdown of these are in the module, the Managed Courses module. So going over to our staff panel, this is the way that you enter staff into a program. And this is what you have to do for October 13th. So this is the course and then the staff. And this is what is required for the deadline of October 13th for your programs. So then we're going to select our staff type. This is a primary staff. And then I can enter staff name or search. Okay, so I'm going to pull a staff. Give me a second. I have my staff. I have to get my staff information. One moment. I apologize for not having my staff information. Okay, so I have a staff in, okay? And again, this is what you have to do for October 13th. So I have my course information in. This is a manual entry. I have my competencies. These are all, this competency profile does not have to be filled out for October 13th. I do want to make note of that. It just has to be your course and your staff. If you have that information, you can enter it in. At some point, you're going to have to enter it in, but it doesn't have to be, it's not required for October 13th. But just for the demo purposes, I put it in. So this is the competency. This is my staff. Yes, I'm gonna get to that in just a moment. This is if you're starting from scratch. Like some people like to put it all in new, some people like to reuse some of the existing courses, and I'm gonna get to that in just a moment. But yes, this is if it's brand new. Okay. And then we're gonna add the course. Okay. So, and if you could see down here at the bottom, I got a success message from CTEIS, this manual course entry of my staff and my competencies and my course information. Uh, it's updated. It's in there. Okay, so if I scroll back up here, I'll see that my automotive 4 course with my staff is here and it's active. Okay, and my course information. So that's a manual entry. Okay, now let's see what's next on the list. If we're going to do an import, okay? So that's a manual entry. You can go in and manually put in your information, or you could do an import. If you're going to do an import, we're going to go back up to data entry. And we're going to go to student course enrollment import. Okay, so once we're to that, I'm sorry, I don't, what's the question, Don? Let's see. No, you can use that one. Okay. So yeah, you could use that one. So you select your course and then you could go here and import your course file. So the file that you're going to use should be an Excel file. Okay. And like I stated, the Excel templates, let's go back to our knowledge base. I'm going to share my screen back on our knowledge base. And we're going to go to imports on our knowledge base. And this imports page has all of our templates for imports. Okay, so for instance, if I want to import students, I can use the headings file here. If I want to import courses, I can use the headings file here. Okay, so this is, again, just like it was for our competencies, this is the instructions for filling out for Perkins 4, Perkins 5. This is the instructions. This is a Perkins 4 example of a course import template, a Perkins 5 example of a course import template. Combined, if you have both Perkins 4 and Perkins 5, And you can see that goes all the way up to unit 35, but I can put in all my segments and all my competencies, and that's there. And then this is the actual template. This is blank for you to use. So you can download this and input your information. This is if you haven't done any of, if you don't have this already, this is available to you. Okay, so we're putting in all of that information that I put in manually. We're putting it in our Excel file. Okay, and that goes all the way there. So you'll put all of your information in here. Take this document once all of your information is inputted in the document, and then we're going to upload that here. We're going to save that, because then it's going to, when we click it, it's going to ask us to select our import file, and then we select it and it'll tell us if we have any errors. As an example, I do have an import file that I'm going to show as a demonstration. May get back an error because I just put the course in manually. So we'll see what happens with that. So let's select our import. Okay, so this is a great example. Okay, so all of this information is errors. Okay, and this has to be corrected before um we're able to submit that information in for submission. So I have to make sure that all of that's correct. I just did this course. I just entered this in. So this is kicking back all of the information. And the same with this one. These are two courses that are already existing in my buildings. Okay. So I can't re enter that information. But at that point, if I come up with errors, I'm going to remove the file, and then I'm going to fix those errors. I'm going to correct those errors, and then I have to upload the file again. So if you're importing and you get those errors, you have to remove the file, correct the errors offline, and then upload the file again. So that's an import. And you can do that using the import templates that I showed earlier. And yes, you can go to data entry and select import courses. That's how to do an import. Now, your question came up if you're going to just edit your data, okay? And then we're going to get to the copy and course and all of that information. But if you're going to edit existing courses, we're going to go back into our grid with our courses. We're going to select our district. And then we're going to select and click on the book icon of the course. Okay, and then at the bottom panel here, I can go in and edit if I need to. So this is a course that's already, I can change start and end dates. I can change all of the information here in the panels. So I can go in and manually change that information. If you're going to update your course information in an import, you have to go into your import document, make those adjustments, and then import the document again, just like we just showed. Okay, so that's if we're doing course by course, one course at a time. Okay, if we're going to do a mass, I'm sorry. If the fields are gray in your these here, they can't be. Okay. It may be an inactive course. Is it an active course? Um, it's active. Okay. I'm not sure why you're getting gray boxes in an active course. We might have to check in on that one. And Diana asked if you're using train.ctis or are you actually in the CTEIS application? Okay, if you're unable to get into your courses, I'll see what someone's saying here. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Diana. So she's saying to check with your fiscal agent. It may be a permission issue. So looking into that with your access to your courses. The next topic is a mass course edit. So that what that we just showed was actually a single course edit. The mass course edit is here. So again, under data entry, under enrollment, we're going to mass course edit. And then I'm going to go to my district. And again, this is probably not going to be used for October 13th because this is editing existing courses. This is if I want to go in at some point and correct that information. Okay, so I can then select all of this here, or I'll just do these two. And it lists all of my, I don't think so. Can everyone still hear me? So we can I'm sorry. Get there quicker. Okay, what was I doing? Mass course edit. We're going to select our two courses and then we're going to update those two courses. This is a mass course edit. You can select more than that. Once you click the update, you can change begin dates, semesters. This is whether or not it's going to be virtual or not virtual. If you're awarding and you need to change that information, and you can see my 2 courses are in the panel here, and then I can just click update courses. So I can edit all of that information. I don't have to go through one by one. I could select the courses and change the information. Now, may want to note that the information that you're changing is going to be the same. Okay, so you don't want to enter in courses that don't have the same information. Okay, so you're entering in the same information for both of the courses. So that's for a mass course edit of the same information. Okay, so if the dates are the same, if all of them enter in high school credits are the same, if it's the same, I can use this option, this tool. So that's a mass course edit. Like I stated, this will be useful if the course beginning and end dates need to be altered. A building begins block scheduling. Semesters or trimesters are implemented mid-year, or your high school or college credits are awarded and they must be corrected. So that's using the mass course edit. Okay, so that's that one. Again, this is all in the module, the managed courses module. I'm just doing the demonstrations. If you want a documentation of it, it's there. We're going to go back out and we're going to do a mass course renew. So we're going to go to data entry. And then mass course renew. We were in edit. We're going to renew. Okay, so then we're going to select our district. I've been working out of the same district. And so this will be useful to update multiple detailed fields across several course section records. You can also use this to adjust the beginning and end dates of old courses to roll them into the current school year. So this may be useful for you to use now. If you know the course information is the same, you just need to change the dates. You can use the mass course edit and it will roll that information. I'm sorry, mass course renew. Excuse me. You could use mass course renew and it will roll them into the current school year. So if you have a selection of courses that the information is going to stay the same, you can mass course renew those courses. So I'm just going to go ahead and select 2 courses as an example. And then I'm going to go ahead and click and it's renewed. So then it says these 2 courses, the dates changed here. So the welding technology 7536, the dates, it rolled it into the new year. So that begin date is going to be January and end in December. It was in August and now it's changed. So you can use that. All right, another useful is we were speaking about earlier, copy course information. If you have a course information and you want to copy course information, we're going to go in data entry. One second, I'm just making sure I'm on the right page here. All right, so in the manage courses screen, same screen, manage courses, We're going to go to our district. This is if I need to copy a course section. So I can select my course. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to make the necessary changes that I need to make to this AM4 course because I'm copying it. Okay. And so if I'm changing that, it's going to be now an online course. Okay. So that course information is different. So I'm going to go down here, it still has the same instructor, but I'm going to copy course information. Now, when I copy course information, it updates in CTEIS. Okay, so I've made the necessary changes. If I need to change dates or semester type, whichever, you want to keep in mind that all classes operate with unique CSCs. So that means that if I go in here and I copy this course, I'm going to need to deactivate the old one so that this course is going to be the only one with this unique CSC. So again, you can make the necessary changes to identify the new course section. Changing the course section start date, end date may require that you select a new semester type. So it's going to prompt you to make the necessary changes if you're doing a copy course. And then remember that all classes operate with unique CSCs. If you need to deactivate an old course section, you may assign the new CSC to the new course section. So we don't want to get mixed up with the courses. The course in our instructional design says that it was an in-person course, whereas when I copied it, now it says it's an online course. That's two separate records. So you need to go in and deactivate and update the new. Okay, so that brings us into our next topic, and that is deactivating courses. Again, this is only if you are using the CSCs or reusing a CSC, you need to deactivate the course. So the same process as I did earlier, I would select my course and then come down. We're going to cancel. We're going to select our course, and then we're going to come down just like we did, and then we're going to deactivate. And then I would deactivate here. And an important note, you may not reactivate an inactive course. So once you deactivate, CTEIS will keep the information and you can copy them back, but you can't reactivate that information. So make sure that's what you want to do before you delete the course or deactivate the course. And I hope that's clear. Okay, so we have, I'll wait to see if there's a question here, but we have went through all of our managed courses. This is all of the process. Again, for October 13th, all you have to do is enter in your courses and your instructors. So if you're using the mass course, renew. If you're if you're importing courses for the first time, if you are manually importing, you're only entering in your course information, your competencies or segments, and then your instructors. The only reason you would have to deactivate, I use the same CSC. Thank you. Yeah. according to what we say, and I want to cross reference that before you delete everything. According to, if you're using the same CSC, you deactivate to reuse because all CSCs have to be unique. If you are renewing a course, the system will roll the course information over. Yeah. Yeah. If you're renewing the course, if you're just taking the course and you're renewing the dates, that information will roll over. You don't have to deactivate. But if you're copying a course and using the information, then you have to deactivate. But I just want to run that past just to make sure again. Still here, and I see your question. Give me 1 second. I was checking in on that other question about deactivating the previous courses just to double check. Okay, yes, they said that is correct. If you use the copy course feature and you are using the same CSCs, you have to deactivate the previous course. Now, can you renew courses and update the teacher later? That is a yes if you've entered in the course at the beginning. The October 13th required that you have a teacher tied to a course. If you have to make edits, that's completely okay. Okay, so we've went through all of our managed courses. That was a pretty big section. So we're done with that. The next section that we had was managed staff. I'm going to show you the managed staff screen. Remember, we put our staff into our course, but just in case we need to update staff information, we're going to go to data entry, manage staff, and then this is the whole registry of staff, okay, in the system. This is everybody. So I can search here, and then once I find the staff that I want to edit, I'm going to click on the Apple icon. And then the staff information pops up in the panel. It shows that the pick number is valid and when, because they run these and they continue to update them, so the dates show when the last, and again, this is a training site but it shows the date when the information was last verified, so that's that there. Just like our course information panel, the information is here. It has to be with the asterisks. You have to have information for that. Middle initial is optional, date of birth, all of that. Where that may be useful for your records, it's not required by CTEIS. So if I need to change any of this information, I can go in here and do that and then click the update staff button. If I have to make any edits to my staff, this is the screen that I would do that. Now, if I want to tie a staff to a course, I have to do that under manage courses. I cannot do that here. I cannot put a staff in a course under the manage staff screen. Okay. Manage students. Okay. Again, this information is for future. You do not have to have students tied to your courses, or you don't have to have enrollments for October 13th. So if I'm ready to put in my student information, I would, again, according to my access privileges, all of the schools that I have access to are going to appear here. Okay, so I'm going to find the school that I want to put the students into, which is this high school. And this is all of the records that are currently in and active. Okay, which it gives me 141 students within this Kingsford High School. Okay. You want to keep in mind that student information in CTEIS supplements the data. The addresses, phone numbers, and emails on file in the CTEIS database are used during your follow-up reporting cycle that begins each fall. So you want to start getting that information in and accurate so that when your follow-up staff start to try to contact the students for the follow-up surveys, the information is accurate. Okay. And again, federal reports require student data, and it is especially useful of student data for credentials and special populations. So you need to make sure that all of your student information is entered in, accurate, and updated. Just like we did, we went from the data entry bar and we went down to manage students. We got all of that information in. It shows our students. Just like with the course, if I'm going to add a new student record, I'm going to come over here and it's going to give me my panel. Okay, so if you see this, the panel looks just like, I'm sorry, the screens look just like managed courses. Instead of books, it's students. It has the students' UICs. I can type UICs in here to find specific students. Same thing with the name, the date of birth, the sending facility. If I want to sort, I can type into these columns and then hit search. Okay. But we're going to enter in a new student. And just like with the courses, the red indicates the information that I have to put in. So I have to have a first name, I have to have a last name, date of birth, gender, and sending facility. Phone numbers and addresses are useful for your follow-up reports, but it's not required in CTEIS. Another one is your UIC. You have to have your UIC. So all of the red indicates information that has to be entered for it to generate a record in CTEIS. This panel here is the MSDS data. It's going to give me a date once I put the student information in. Let's say, for instance, if I grab a student, as you can see, the last update was ran the 10th of August. It gives me the grade, the exit status, all of the specifics to the student is labeled here. Single parent, out of workforce, out of workforce. And all of this information, again, is in our Manage Students module. So if you want a breakdown of all of these definitions, you can read that. But I don't know if you've noticed, this is different this year. So this program enrollment history looks different from last year. Last year, there were X's. This year, it's all here. Yay. So all of the information is here. We have our zip code for our program. So this is the programs that our student is enrolled in. It also lists the work-based learning. So it lists the year, the PSN, and then the events. So all of that information is generated once I put in my student information. CTEIS ties it to the student, and all of the information is here for me to review. I can change grades here. I can also update completion status. All of this is new. This is new features. I can add high school credits, just like in our managed courses. Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but I can award high school or college credits, and then it will update in the system. Okay. So all of that information is there. And like it did, if you update any information, it gives a success message from CTEIS, and then the information is updated. Okay. So manual entry, all of this information, you're putting it all in. If you're editing, you're just like courses, you're coming in and you are editing the information in the panels. We're going to get to enrollments in just a moment where we can edit the enrollment information, but we can at least put grades in on this screen too. Okay. Looking over here on this panel, up here, I don't know if I pointed out, the check UIC button is still here. If for any reason we get any errors and we need to check our UICs, we can do that here. All right, so I pointed out the program enrollment. So again, we can edit the actual program information in enrollments, but we could change grades, completion status, college and high school credits here. Credentials are also listed here. So those panels are different. They weren't like that before. So this information is all spelled out for us now. So now we'll go to imports and we're winding down. So just like with courses, we're going to go to data entry. And then this is when I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So the question is if a student, whoops, I'll go back. I like to keep my. Okay. Let me, 1 second and I'll get that answer to that question about special populations. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Diana. Thank you for, I was going through my documents. Yes. Okay, it's pulled from MSDS. And is there any authority as to when to change completion status? I have to check into that. I'm not sure. This is a new feature. Oh, and okay. Diana said it also comes from the MSDS when to change. Okay, thank you, Diana. So we got those two questions answered. And so now we're going to move into imports, how to import your student data. Okay, so we're going to data entry and we're going to student course enrollment import. This is where I was going earlier, so I was a little ahead of myself. Okay, so just like with our imports for our courses, we're going to select the building that we want to import the students into. And then the same thing, our Excel file. Remember, we can get our imports. We're going back to our knowledge base, and our imports for our students, we can use the headings here. This is a document. This is a template that we can use to put our students in if we haven't done so already. Okay, so I'm going to click that, and it shows all of the columns that is needed for student import. Okay, email, city, state, zip, special populations, CSC, all of that information is here. Course grade is another column here. We can enter in the grades and then import the student information that way. Okay, work-based learning. So this is a template for all of that. So we can put all of our student information on this template, in this template, and then just import the material into CTEIS. We can manually do it or we can import it. And just an example of mine. Let's see, I'll close this out. Okay, so this one was one that I used, and it has my student's name. Of course, this is all obfuscated. It's not real student information, but this is all of my students' information, beginning and end dates, and I use the template. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of here so that I can give you an example of how to import. Okay, so we're going to select import enrollment file for our student data. And my document is this one. And we're going to import. Okay, now it states here that I have errors. And this is what I was talking about. You want to do this early. You want to get this information in and make sure it's accurate. All of the red indicates error and it gives the result. Sending district is invalid. Oh, that's because I did pick the wrong school. So all of that information has to be corrected before I can upload. Okay, so I would then remove the file, change the district, change the building information on my import file, and then upload the file again. Okay, so I got one green. So I don't have a work-based learning in for that, but at least the building is correct. And then I can check that work-based learning information out and then upload that information into the CTEIS. Okay. So that's how we would import our student information. And please utilize the manage students quick links here. This gives the background of all of the managed student information that I'm talking about. So you can look and use that as a resource. All right. Manage enrollment is the last section that we're going to cover. and then we're going to show you how to do your submissions. So manage enrollment. So we're going to data entry. And again, you don't have to do this for October, but you do need to do this going forward. We're going to show you, just like we've done with the other two processes, the manual first for enrollment entry. Okay, so these are the courses that I have available. Remember that AM4 course that I input earlier with my start date? That's here. And I can go in, click the book icon, and it's going to think for me. Okay, so we see down at the bottom panel under manage enrollment, we have our course section code, our dates. It also has our program up here. We have three options: enroll students, update enrolled students, or copy transfer students. Okay. If I want to get a class list report up here, I can click this and it will generate a class list report for this district. Okay. For this course. Okay, so for this district, for this course, for this automotive technology course, I can click and get the class list report for this course. I can click that. But right now, I click the book icon, and I'm going to make some manual enrollment edits. Okay, so right now it says that I have no students enrolled in this course. Do I have any students enrolled? Okay, so what I can do is here, if you enroll students, you can go and select the students that you want to enroll. Okay, so we click this, and it should give me the option to. Okay, so I might have to do something here. 1 second. It's still thinking here. And this is because of all of the updates that took place. It's had a lot of updates, so we're still getting that stuff updated in there. All right, while I'm waiting on that, when I enroll students, I'm going to this is what it looks like when we go into manage enrollments. We're going to click on the book icon of the course that we want to update. The enrolled students are displayed in the grid. And then we can sort just like we did the last time. So all of the students are located in the course grid. We can sort to find our students. Or like I said, click on the class list report to get the class list report, and we can print those out. The panels above explains that we can enroll them, we can update them, and then we can copy transfer. If we're going to enroll them, we're just going to enter in the information just like we did for our courses and our staff. If we want to edit them, we're going to click on, and then we're just going to click in there and change all of the information. Okay, so this is what it looks like if we're going to edit the enrollments. So once we click that student icon of the students that's in our enrollments or in the courses, we can then update the information. So we can enter in new enter and exit dates, work-based learning, all of the grades. We can also change that information there. Now, remember, you can change grades in the manage student screen, but you can also update grades in the manage enrollment screen. If we want to copy and transfer students, the process is still the same. We click on the book icon, just like with courses. We're going to click the students that we want to copy and transfer. And then we can update the information. Now, it gives specific information, just like it did with our courses. If we copy enrollments, it keeps the student enrollment records within the original course intact, and it duplicates the information from the course. So this one, it copies it and duplicates it. Okay, so you will still have your original record if you use the copy enrollment feature and manage enrollments. If you transfer an enrollment, this will remove the student records from the original course and move them into the course section. Okay, so if a student is no longer in a course and we want to transfer them into another course, we would use the transfer enrollment feature. And that button is here. He really came out of here. It's thinking, but the it's right here. It looks like this. So copy transfer. Okay. And that's what we would do if we want to transfer a student out. If we just want to copy a student record and make changes, it'll keep the information from the original intact. Just like I stated, we can input grades. And then we have our grade information breakdown there. And then the same as if we were to import courses and students, we can import our grades and our enrollments. Okay, so again, those templates are very helpful on our knowledge base. And this is our student Excel headings file. You can use that. And like I showed you earlier, we can put our course grades in. Okay, is my screen still up? Nope, I don't have it up anymore. Okay, and then work-based learning. We can enter in our work-based learning and manage enrollments as well. So we talked a little bit about work-based learning, but if you want to import your work-based learning experiences, you have to use these templates here. Okay, now keep in mind, if you're importing your work-based learning experience using these templates, it's going to erase what you've entered in manually. So you want to be careful using imports if you have put in your work-based learning manually, because it'll erase it. So you want to make sure that you have all of the work-based learning experiences if you're using an import. You don't have to use an import, but if you do, you want to make sure that you keep all of the work-based learning experiences so that you don't miss any, because it's gonna override the ones that you put in manually. And then this is just to show you the example of what it says once you click on the course. So this is the screen here. Update enroll students, and then copy transfer students. Okay. And then if we're doing the imports, we're going to come down, and this is the manage work-based learning and manage our imports. So you can import work-based learning, but keep that in mind that if you import your work-based learning, it's going to override what's already in the system. Now, if you want to, speaking about work-based learning, if you want to enter in your work-based learning manually, you can select your district and then select the program. And then you can go and grab all of the students and enter in your work-based learning that way. And again, all of this information is in the work-based learning module, but you can do it that way too. So you can grab your students by program by clicking on the select button next to the zip code. And then in the program details panel, we can get all currently enrolled or all students in the program, and it will show the students within the program. And then I can go through here, and then I can enter in the work-based learning experiences that way. Same with credentials. If I'm going to enter in my credentials manually, we're going to go to data entry and then manage credentials. We select our district, and then we're going to select the program, the select button next to the program zip code. And the same thing, we can list all currently enrolled, click the get students, and then it pulls up the students within the program. So here's my AM4 course. I don't have any students in here, but had I had students in there, it would get it here. Okay. So then we can also select, now you have to do one or the other. If you're going to put in work-based learning, then credentials, then you're inputting your credentials. But if your program does not have credentials, you have to select this program will not have any credentials, or you're going to get an error in the, going forward. Okay, so you definitely have to select one or the other, either input the credentials for the program or select that the program will not have any credentials. Same process for imports. We're going to go down to upload credentials. We choose the file, and then we can upload our file just as we did with our classes and our students. And in our credential manual, I'll show you where you can get, if you're going to import your credentials, the template. We have templates for all of it. It's work-based learning. So we go down to credential. We can click this, and it takes us to our manage credentials. So this is instructions on how to do credentials. And then if we want to import our credentials, we can create an Excel file, but it has to have these columns. So that's what CTEIS is going to recognize if we import our credentials. So we would do the process that I just did. You would upload your credentials and then import your records. And it just tells here if your import file includes headers beyond the ones that we stated that you need for credentials, it's fine. CTEIS is going to ignore them, but you have to have these headers for CTEIS to recognize the credential. Okay, and again, this credential information is under our playlist under credential overview. Again, we won't have to use this right now, but our data review. So as I stated earlier, I would show you where to get your reports. So we've been using data entry up until this point. You can get your reports here by clicking this one. And then you can do building reports. So reports and then building reports if you want to review your data going forward. And this lists all of the reports. The first four here, or this first collection of audit reports, are good for review for your spring enrollment collection. Okay, so we're going to get all of our invalid UICs, our list of students, our class lists, our student counts. If you're reviewing your program and student reports, the student advancement export, so it lists all of the students and segments by PSN and building. Program enrollment history report was one that I mentioned. All of these are here. So you're just going to select this and generate these reports with your data that you're entering into CTEIS. And again, to access these reports, you do have to have the CTEIS login credentials, as this is on the CTEIS application. This one isn't on the knowledge base. Okay. Active district staff listing might be one that you can use now if you want to make sure that you input your teachers correctly. The list of courses by building may be one that you want to use if you want to review the courses that you put in, but either one of those reports might be useful now. But going forward, you would want to use these reports here to look at your data. And we'll have training going forward. Training starts in March for spring enrollment. So we will probably I know we will visit this information again. But just in case you want to get a head start on it, the reports are here once you put your student data in. Student and enrollment data. And the last section that we're going to go into is submission processes. Okay, so this is what we're going to do after we've entered in that one course per PSN per teacher. We're going to go here and we're going to submit our information. This is directions for fiscal agents and CPET administrators. And then it gives information on viewing your reports. Okay, so I'm going to take you to this in our CTEIS, on Train CTEIS, and show you how to submit your information. So again, on October 13th, building reporters should have submitted their courses to their fiscal agent. And then your fiscal agent by October, I believe it's the 20th, needed to submit their courses to the CPET. I'm sorry, the CPET is going to, let me look at the dates instead of trying to remember them. So your fall course collection due to CPET the 13th. So you're actually scratch what I said. The building reporters would have to done this before the 13th. So the building reporters sends it to the fiscal agent, who sends it to the CPET. The CPET sends it to OCTE October 20th. So if you haven't started already, you need to submit this information, and we're getting ready to go over how to submit. We're going to go to data entry, and we're going to go down to building course review. Select the district. And then we're going to select, you see here, it shows me that I need to validate. This is what I would see as a building reporter. So I've been working out of this building. So I'm going to view it. And it shows me the courses within that building that's active. Okay. So all of the courses there. And it should have the teachers. It looks like the teachers are here. the instructors, the staff, the semester type, the dates, the PSN, the course names, the CSCs, all of this information here, and the building name. And then once I see that that's all there, once I have all of the courses that I want to submit for this collection period, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click complete. Once I click complete, that information is going to be sent to my fiscal agent. Okay. And then my fiscal agent is going to review the information and make sure it's accurate. And then they're going to hit complete, and then they're going to send it to their CPIT. And then the CPIT sends it to OCTE once all of the information is complete. So that's the process. If you have any errors, it will come up. But as you see, I was able to submit my information along, and my building status has an X. So once the X is there, I can't go back in and edit any of that information for that building. It's already submitted. And the same would happen for the fiscal and the CPIT. Once the X is there, you can't go back in. So you just want to make sure all of your information is correct and you're getting it in by the deadline. Just to give an overview of, again, what's to come going forward, we're going into our expenditures training, our fall data training. I'll show our dates here. So our expenditures training, the expenditures is due in November. Follow-up is due in January, and then we're going all the way down to when we do our enrollments, and that's due in June. Just an overview of your spring enrollment, just what to look forward to. There's a module here of everything that you're going to be doing for your spring enrollments. Okay, so you can take a look at that and get familiar with that before the trainings. And we'll be updating the training material when those dates start pretty shortly. We haven't gotten those dates yet, but once we do, we'll post those closer to spring enrollment time. And we've went through all of our information. Believe we covered everything. If there's any questions, we still have a little bit of time left on our time, but let me see, I can go ahead and double check if I've covered everything. Again, you want to keep in mind, although you're putting in this information, you may run into some trouble. You may have some questions. Just know that assistance is available. If you have technical questions, the how, the why, the how is this information put in? How do I put in my courses? Like we stated earlier, some courses may not be shown. All of the technical questions of a technical nature, those go to PTD, our help desk. Okay. Our CTEIS help desk. Okay. So the information is in the module, in the assistance module. So please don't hesitate to reach out to our help desk. They're very helpful. If you have specific questions to reporting policy, you want to direct those questions to Joan Church at OCTE, and she will be able to answer those questions. And also, again, very useful is the OCTE website that gives background on all of the collection processes and descriptions for your positions and your access. So check out the OCTE website. Don't forget to sign up for your emails on the listserv if you haven't gotten that information already. The listserv is where all of our email communication is taken from. So you want to get on that list to be updated with all of the information, newsletters, CTEIS updates, training. All of that information comes to the listserv. So use that information there in the module to contact Jackie Martinez to get on the listserv. And I believe that is it. Okay. Is there going to be a link for an updated fall entry guide for 2020? The one I see is last year's. This is the fall data entry guide, the playlist. So we're trying something different. We've taken the components of the fall entry guide and put them into the playlist separately. They're all individual. So this was an attempt to make it easier to find. Instead of putting everything into one guide, we separated it so that it's collection specific, so that you have all of the information specific to the collection process. So the playlist is everything you will need for the fall. So the playlist is the guide, and that's this. It's just all of the components in an individual format. And if there's any other questions or any other additional information that I need to show you where it is, you can drop that in the chat. So deactivating courses, if you are using the same CSC, you need and you're copying your course information, you need to deactivate. That's the only time you need to deactivate is if you're using the same CSC, because CSCs are unique. So if you're going to use the copy course feature and copy the course information and put in new information, then you need to deactivate. If you're not deactivating, you can just do a mass course renew if the information is the same, and that will roll over your dates into the new year. And I guess it's preference. I guess it depends on your instructional design and your process. If you want to deactivate everything, some people like to start fresh and put in all of their courses. That would be something you would have to look into if that's what you all do as your process. So yeah, if you the only time you would need to deactivate is if you're reusing the CSCs. Otherwise, you can renew and the dates will roll over. Okay, so the next comment is the wording on the timeline of CTEIS reports on the quick links is confusing for fall data entry for enrollment and completion collection. Is the fall course and staff collection? Is your question, is the fall course and staff collection the same as fall data entry? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, yeah. So fall data entry is now called fall course and staff collection. Yes, Diana's right. So when you see that here on the home page, on the side, the dates where it says fall course and staff collection over here, that's the fall data entry. Mm-hmm. Yeah. To import courses, again, we're on the CTEIS knowledge base, support.cetis.com. You're going to go under data entry and you're going to go under imports. That's one way to get to them. So the importing formats for students, importing formats for courses. You can also, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get these in the chat. You can also use the fall data entry quick links. And if you go to manage courses, importing course, some of the templates are also here. But it's probably easier to just go to imports. And that was what I showed earlier. So you go to data entry and just go to imports, and the formats are there. Okay, I just imported a few this year, courses without deactivating last year. I imported a few this year without deactivating last year. It was a success, but it only changed the year on the date, not the exact date. And the teacher was duplicated. Okay. So it looks like it copied over the information from last year. And the date wasn't exact. Okay, yeah, that one is a technical question. So that one, I would, if you verified it and made the edits, maybe you can make the edits. But if you're still having trouble with the dates, not, I would contact the help desk. That's a technical question if you're having trouble with your imports. Okay. And thanks for the suggestion on the description. We'll try to make sure that all of the information is as clear as possible. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The student imports file. Okay, so we're going to imports. And we're going to go to students. Okay, so this first one is a guide. That's specifications. But this one is for students. I think that's what you export headings file. That's this one. Okay. 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 Okay, so first question is regarding the 3-year instructional design report. Now, a lot of this report information is going through the update, so it could be something on that end. Um, I will definitely make note of this comment that you can't access that, and there may be a reason because of the updates. So we might have to give it a little time on the reports for um, going forward, but I'll definitely write this down. So this is the 3-year. And so yes, Kim, I will look into that. And Don, yes, thank you for your suggestion. It does say mid-September from last year's just generalization of the date, but yes, it's actually in October. You're absolutely right. So we'll make note of that so that there's no confusion there. Okay, so I think we've gotten all the questions together. So we're going to go ahead and close out. If you, I forgot the link again. I'm sorry, Diana. um, maybe I can do it this way. Oh, okay, perfect. So, as always, we always value your opinion of our training. This is the closing of our training. Once I end this meeting, you will be prompted to fill out a training evaluation. We ask that you please fill that out. Let us know how we're doing. We really appreciate your input. Again, all of this information, and thank you, Diana. She dropped it in the chat. If you have to leave before I actually end the meeting, you can click that link and fill out the evaluation. And again, just keep in mind all of the resources, the data entry, you go down to fall data entry quick links, and all of the information and material that I discussed today is there. This training video will be up as soon as possible. So just be on the lookout for that, as well as last week's new user training. Going forward, we have 2 other data entry trainings. If someone knows someone that needs to train for fall data entry, next week, I'm sorry, the 29th starts our expenditures training. And then we go forward to fall data. CPID is the end of September. So all of our training dates, if you go to training and registration, so if you go here, training and registration, all of the training dates are here. So we will be moving right along on the calendar and the next training set. So please make sure to register for those courses. The CTEIS assistants, our help desk, as well as our policy updates are all here, and we can utilize that information as well. Okay, so we thank you all for your time and attention. All of the information is here on our knowledge base. We ask that you take a look at that, and we're going to close out. So thank you all so much for attending. Thank you. Thank you all. We're going to close out. Again, once I close out, then the evaluation will pop up, and we ask that you fill it out. Have a great rest of your day. Great rest of your, today's Tuesday. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and happy fall data entry season. And we will see you in the next training. Thank you all so much.